Firm. Big news out of the NFL today. DJ Moore getting traded to the Buffalo Bills for a second-round pick. The Bills have also acquired a fifth-round pick alongside DJ Moore, and star pass rusher for the Saints has been cut. Cameron Jordan will be a free agent for the first time in his career, could be leaving New Orleans. We got Lakers basketball back on the stations tonight, taking on the Nuggets in Denver. Denver currently 4.5-point favorites in that one. You hear the game right here on San Diego Sports 760. This report has been sponsored by Mattress Firm.
Happy March 5th, everybody. What's going on? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer will take over then. We got a busy one for you today. More 4-packs of tickets to give away to the new Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, which I believe opens up today, March 5th. Yeah. So get on out there, but stay tuned here so you can win a 4-pack of those tickets. We also had perhaps the worst beat of all time last night in long shots. OKC winning by 3. They had a 5-point lead with a minute left in the game. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander hits a 3-pointer late that puts him up 5. And then Jalen Brunson with a nasty little fadeaway jumper to bring it back to 3 points. And long shots was doomed to fail. Hi, Sammy.
Man, I mean, 858, damn, my apologies to you about the Hornets. Gambling can be frustrating, and we got a prime example of that last night, and I'm going to tout myself for a second.
It was a great long shots.
I'm out here.
One of your best.
I'm out here calling 6.5-point underdog Charlotte Hornets on the second night of a back-to-back to beat the Boston Celtics. The Clippers absolutely dismantle the Indiana Pacers. Benedict Mathurin had 23 points. And really, Oklahoma City? I mean, you couldn't win by 5 points and pay out all of San Diego. Very frustrating from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I thought they were the best defense in the league. Apparently not.
And it almost went to overtime too.
We could have used that.
There was a couple of 3-pointers missed right at the end there that could have been helpful. But OKC doesn't get the job done. Don't worry, Sammy. We'll have a new long shots for you coming up at 12:45. If it's your first time joining the show, hello, my name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. Sammy, say hi to everybody.
What's going on?
We like to have a lot of fun here from noon to 2 every single day. We talk football, basketball, baseball, and everything in between. Today, we'll do a little bit of everything. We got Vinny Bonsignore jumping on the show coming up at 1:30 to talk some AFC West, which has been kind of crazy here over the last few days with question marks about where Maxx Crosby ends up with the Chiefs, just getting rid of a bunch of people and stockpiling some draft picks. We got lots to talk about with Vinny coming up in just a little bit, but we are going to start in the NFL because I can already tell you exactly what Sammy Long is going to say. And we have not talked about this yet, but I know for a fact.
You know what I'm going to say?
Sammy Long is going to open his mouth and say, congratulations to the Buffalo Bills. Today is the day. It's my favorite time of year where everyone is going to crown the Buffalo Bills top team in the AFC because they fixed what they needed to fix. They got a wide receiver. They got DJ Moore from the Bears. We'll talk about the Bears side in a second, but the Buffalo Bills got a lot better today. I do firmly believe that. DJ Moore is a stud wide receiver, and they bring him in, and they're pairing him with Josh Allen. This makes a lot of sense to me for the Buffalo Bills, and if I had to say right now who my 2 teams in the Super Bowl are for next year, I would probably say Rams and Bills. Sammy, this is your favorite time of year.
Wait, hold on.
Was I not spot on with what you were going to say?
No, I'm actually going to praise the Bills.
Okay.
To an extent. I mean, I'm not going to be like everyone else and, writing the Josh Allen Hall of Fame card already. Listen, it's a good get. The Bills desperately needed a receiver, and DJ Moore, they're eating about $15 million of the deal, but DJ Moore is a really good receiver. He just lost some playing time because Rome Odunze kind of had a great connection with Caleb Williams, and Luther Burden III, the rookie last year out of Missouri, kind of exploded onto the scene. Colston Loveland, it's a youth movement in Chicago. So I get it from the Bills perspective. I get it from the Bears perspective as well. You had to get Josh Allen, a number 1 receiver. I'm sorry, but Khalil Shakir is not a number 1 receiver. Waiting for Keon Coleman to eventually try to become a superstar has not worked out so far.
Bills have become reputable for being bad at drafting receiver.
Well, they're trying to do what the Chiefs did, which is get rid of Tyreek Hill. They got rid of Stephon Diggs. Everyone has went away from the star number 1 wide receiver. And the Chiefs have had problems with this, kind of trying to deal with scraps of other people's leftover wide receivers, aka Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins. The Bills have done the same thing, trying to kind of take, Brandon Cooks, some former guys. My problem, if I was a Bills fan, is why didn't this happen at the trade deadline last year? You could have had Jalen Waddle from Miami, apparently for a first round pick, and who knows? I'm not saying they win that game against Denver, but they lost on the margins. You needed a number one wide receiver. The AFC felt wide open last year with no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar Jackson, and Herbert without an offensive line. It's a good move for the Bills. They got to fix the defense. This still doesn't make them an excellent defense, but yeah, for the value that they gave up, I think DJ Moore will have a good year with Josh Allen.
I'd be surprised if they were done. I think they may go for another wide receiver. I really do. And just totally revamp that room. Khalil Shakir is a really good slot receiver, but that's what he is. He's a slot receiver. You need stuff around him outside. So maybe it's time for them to cut bait on the Keon Coleman experiment. Maybe that's it. And start leaning into the focus of tight end, which they certainly have with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. But surround Josh Allen with a little more talent and add to the defense. The Bills are sitting in an okay situation salary cap wise, but wouldn't it not shock you at all, Sammy, if Brandon Ayuk ends up being cut by the 49ers, they take a flyer on him?
I think that'd be smart for them. But if you're the Bills, you got a veteran, I'm not superstar, star receiver in DJ Moore. They don't have a lot of draft capital. They don't have a first and a third round pick now of legit, first and second or day one and day two picks. I would try to go get a superstar receiver. If the Bills were ever going to make it in the draft,
because Brandon being shown that he's so good at that.
Well, that's fair, but you at some point you can't just keep recycling. DJ Moore is 29 years old, and it's on a fall off at 30 like running backs have, but we've seen a lot of receivers once they get to 30, 31, 32, they kind of lose their speed and are not the same. And there is a reason why the Bears are moving off him. So I think it was a good gift for the Bills. But if this is the solve to the offense, just getting DJ Moore, I'm not sitting here saying that they're in the Super Bowl today because of that.
On the Bears side of things, I get the move in terms of the fact that you're excited about what you have coming up. But Rome Odunze and it's Luther Burton, right?
Yeah, out of Missouri. He's a burner.
He was really good for them last year, and he was fun to watch. And I get the idea that you have those two, but DJ Moore was a nice little safety blanket for Caleb Williams. And I think you just saw what Caleb Williams could be for your future, and you trade away a veteran receiver whose presence in that room I don't think is just about the plays he can make on the field, but also growing up those two young wide receivers that you have, especially with Rome Odunze, who I know it's just 2 years in, but maybe the injury-prone question with him starts to pop up a little bit.
Well, and Burden, too. Burden was hurt down the stretch as well.
So DJ Moore is consistent as it comes in the NFL. I don't know that that's the move I would have made this offseason, maybe next offseason. You're looking to maybe cut away the veteran wide receiver. All right, we'll get to the big three here in hour number one. If you're just joining us, I don't think I asked the question, but Sam, are you ready to have a great show?
I'm ready to have a fantastic show.
We're all ready to have a great show. Jump on in, have some fun with us today. Text line's open, 70470. Start your message with team. YouTube is open as well at San Diego Sports 760. Go give us a subscribe over there and drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you there as well. Sammy, go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
Yesterday, I felt a little antsy during the show. Sammy had that yerba mate that really kind of kicked into high gear. I feel much more calm, cool, collected.
You're already hooked on yerba mates?
I think so. They're real nice. It's like cocaine, but in liquid form. I've never done cocaine, but I imagine that's how you feel.
It's bad when you drink, like I drink coffee every day, and I used to not. And now when I don't drink coffee,
like 3 of these a day.
I know you get a headache.
Which probably isn't great for you, but I start my first cup of coffee on my way into work, have another one, then I have one during this show.
You feel more confident when you got a cup of coffee in your hand.
That's true. It's like if you're at a business dinner or something, you feel better if you have like a whiskey in your hand.
Exactly.
Like,
it's like business is being conducted.
$150,000 sounds fine.
Tremendous. All right, let's head to the NFL. So Trey Wingo put out a tweet earlier. This is quoting his tweet. Things are moving fast on Maxx Crosby. Last night, Dallas thought they were close to a deal, but since then, other teams have raised the ante and are offering the Raiders 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby. The Dallas Cowboys are now expected to shift their focus to Trey Hendrickson. This also comes after a report earlier today that the Raiders are more open to moving Maxx Crosby. Feels like this is heating up right before free agency. Where would you like to see Maxx Crosby go? And number 2, do you like Trey Hendrickson as a fit for the Dallas Cowboys?
Now, I'm not sure if it's just rumors, but I did see a new team kind of enter the chat on Maxx Crosby with the New England Patriots. Could they be interested in bringing him in? And they got some flexibility with the young quarterback to potentially unload something like that. And you think about what that does for the New England defense that was already excellent last year. But the Bears, the Patriots, both make a lot of sense to me. You're looking at up-and-coming teams who, A, have young quarterback where they're not spending a ton at that position, and they can afford to bring in one of the highest-paid edge rushers in the league. And B, like Maxx Crosby's going to a contender. Maxx Crosby's done his time with the bad NFL team. I think it's time for Maxx Crosby to be on someone's team that we can see playing late into the season and into the postseason. I mean, I would love to see him with a Chicago outside of the fact that they're in the NFC and I root for the Niners. I also don't think the door is completely shut on the San Francisco 49ers to bring Maxx Crosby in. He has shown interest in moving back to the Bay Area, which is where he was drafted with the Oakland Raiders, who are now in Las Vegas. He has showed interest in coming to the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think that's a bad fit at all. Him and Bosa on the same defensive line. If you're thinking your window is only this big with Fred Warner aging, with Trent Williams maybe in his last year, we'll see if he's even a Niner next year. I don't think that's a bad idea for the Niners at all to just go all in on one season.
I can see it from the Niners' perspective in that, to your point, if you think it's a limited window with all these aging stars, go in and try to win it.
It's this year. When are you going to get McCaffrey playing at an all-pro level again?
Kittle,
it's not going to happen.
Right. The Bears, it makes a lot of sense. We were just talking about it, the DJ Moore trade, freeing about $15 million in cap space. The Bears have a lot of cap space to deal with. You need a bona fide superstar pass rusher on that defense because, as we remember, although Chicago, and I was singing their praises all year, the defense was extremely turnover reliant. I believe they had the best plus minus of any team in turnover differential. That can completely change in the span of 1 year. And the Bears defense wasn't very good. It's just the offense was great and they forced turnovers. You got to get a superstar pass rusher. On the Cowboys side of things, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I am ecstatic today because not Maxx Crosby, yes, he's a megastar with the Raiders. Could you imagine him with the Cowboys? And it'd be a big story and everyone's talking about Dallas. But you got rid of Micah Parsons and you did that for a reason because you wanted to get back some draft picks and kind of rebuild this defense and not just have stars, really rebuild it from every level and every facet of the defense. Trading a bunch more draft picks to go acquire another star pass rusher, who, by the way, is older than Micah Parsons at 28 years old, is kind of undoing everything Jerry Jones has done since last year. And I think if you're a Cowboys fan, you're sitting there, you sign Trey Hendrickson, you have a bunch of cap space, you have Quentin Williams, and you have a bunch of draft picks to go attack the defense. I think that's a much smarter way to go than to trade the farm to just go star hunting.
858 jumping in here on the NFL Talk saying, do you guys think anyone swoops up Stephon Diggs? I was just having this conversation actually in the hallway earlier today about Stephon Diggs. And I honestly think he is the Nick Castellanos of the NFL this offseason because at the money he was getting paid with New England, no chance anyone's going to trade for him because there's too much volatility with Stephon Diggs. And you don't know the wide receiver that you're getting as well, whether he's the Stephon Diggs who was excellent with Minnesota or who was kind of okay with New England. But at a $5 million a year deal, Stephon Diggs is absolutely worth it to bring in. He'll land somewhere.
Yeah, I think we're going to see it's going to be a minute because you're waiting on this AJ Brown thing to come down. Apparently the Eagles, we talked about it yesterday, want a Quentin Williams type package back, so a first and a couple seconds, which feels crazy to me, but that's what they want. AJ Brown is a better receiver at this point in his career. And then you got the kind of big three in the NFL draft. Mekhi Lemon out of USC, Carnell Tate out of Ohio State, and Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Someone's not going to be able to land one of those three receivers. That's, I think, where Stephon Diggs on a cheap deal, to your point, makes a little bit of sense for somebody.
It may be exactly the Castellanos situation. It might be when teams report to camp and everybody gets eyes on everyone for the first time. And they're like, oh, we're going to need a wide receiver.
Right, because at least with Diggs, even though there's injury concerns, there's a lot of off-the-field stuff.
He had 4 kids in 2025. 4.
It's impressive.
4 kids in 2025.
That's impressive numbers.
6 total children, 6 different women.
He's still got to be playing for a contract.
He's spreading it out, man. He's got child support for 18 years on all of them.
Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, he will get swooped up. All right. Breaking news out of the NBA. Jason Tatum will be making his debut this season. A lot of people thought coming off the Achilles tear, ACL tear, he would not play at all this season. He's likely to make his debut against the Mavericks on Friday night. Are the Celtics, despite being blown out by the Hornets last night, the favorites now to come out of the Eastern Conference.
I do think that the basketball world owes the Celtics a big fat thank you. I really do. How often do you see, because the reports when Jason Tatum injured his leg were that he's probably going to miss all of this season. The thinking behind that was the Celtics would not be in a position come March 5th where Jason Tatum would be of any help to get them back into any sort of competitive conversation. The Celtics hold serve. They play really, really well without Tatum. So now you would think halfway through Tatum's recovery, he's looking at the team like, oh my God, we still have a chance to go in there and mess some things up in the East come playoff time. And they've done better than that. They just keep getting better without him. I think this is great for the NBA. I think this is really cool that Jason Tatum is going to be able to get back on the court, one of the biggest stars that we have right now in the NBA. And whether he's polarizing or not to you, I like watching Jason Tatum play basketball.
He's a great player.
And he's fun to watch. And he is going to be really good for the Celtics team when they get him back. I think this is great for the league. And they should be in the conversation as the top team in the East.
I am going to make him the favorites right now in the East because I think it's going to look rocky when he comes back. This team has gotten accustomed to Jaylen Brown being the star. Peyton Pritchard has had an unbelievable season on the wing for them. Derek White, Neemias Queta. It's a very collective roster that plays hard-nosed defense. Adding Jason Tatum back in, that's less shots for Derek White, less shots for Peyton Pritchard. But to beat Oklahoma City, to beat San Antonio, Denver, whoever comes out of the West, you are going to have to have two bona fide superstar scorers. It can't just be Brown because excellent defensive teams are going to be able to take you out of it. The Knicks have beat some good teams recently, narrowly lost to Oklahoma City last night. I feel like Karl-Anthony Towns is the number 2 is just not good enough to get to an NBA Finals. That's just me personally. Detroit, I think, lacks a lot of three-point shooting, and they're very young. It's kind of Cade Cunningham and a lot of talented role players, but again, is Jalen Duren a number 2 star on a championship team? I don't think so. And then the Cavs, we haven't seen Donovan Mitchell really perform in the postseason and James Harden. So until I see it, I don't know if I believe that. So I do think Boston, they've been there before. They're an extremely deep team. They could give some teams in the Western Conference headaches.
All right, we're going to save it for the other side, Sammy. We'll get big 3, number 3 on the other side. Plus, keep listening for your chance to win those Elephant Valley tickets for the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, which is now open as of today. Congratulations to the elephants. I kind of want to go see them.
Hell yeah.
Like pretty soon here. It is San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. Big 3, number 3 on the other side, plus some Padres talk coming at you at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Vinny Bonsignore going to be joining us coming up at 1:30 to talk some AFC West. Text line is already up and cruising 619. How predictable? Another over-evaluation of the season that the Bills are going to have, along with Josh Allen. A new receiver for Allen to overthrow in pressure situations. Sammy, I told you to stop texting the show. We have listeners who text the show.
No, listeners are coming to the realization of what happens every January. And I don't know how many times we can see the same thing every year. We're in the time of year where everyone tricks themselves into thinking this is the year. So
Josh Allen had a broken foot, Sammy.
There's always an excuse.
760, yo, Tom Aspinall signing with Matchroom. Do you think he leaves the UFC after his contract is done? So Matchroom is Eddie Hearn's new boxing promotion?
Massive boxing promoter, yeah.
Okay, so interesting for sure. Tom Aspinall is one of the top big boys in the UFC. And if he's to leave and go switch over to boxing, that's a blow to Dana.
And so Eddie Hearn and Dana White have had beef the last couple of weeks because Dana White getting into boxing, Zuffa boxing, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Oscar De La Hoya, all these boxing promoters don't like that because he's basically trying to build a UFC of boxers where all the best boxers are under one promotion. They're all fighting each other.
And it's a league.
So ideally, if that were to happen, it would be fun because a lot of the biggest fights in boxing we haven't gotten, have been evaded because of promoters for decades now. But so now Eddie Hearn kind of pulls the Uno reverse and ends up signing the heavyweight champion of the world, Tom Aspinall, for some business dealings in and out of the ring. Dana White has an interesting thing on his hands because the UFC is well run. If you're the champ, you're fighting the number one contender. Then if he's not available, the number two contender, so forth. It's easy for people to digest. The problem though right now is the UFC is lacking stars because Conor McGregor has been out of the octagon for so long. John Jones getting up there in age. Alex Pereira is getting up there in age.
There was some report today that John Jones may be already confirmed for the White House card. And even if he is confirmed, are you relying on him to show up?
Well, that's the thing. He has had trouble off, out of the ring stuff. Conor McGregor as well. And where's the young UFC superstar? And that was supposed to be Tom Aspinall. So if Eddie Hearn signs Tom Aspinall and Tom Aspinall pursues a career in boxing, you wonder where that leaves the UFC in terms of star power going forward.
And now you got a bunch of UFC complainers, UFC fighters complaining about how much money they make on a fight in, fight out basis. It's tricky for Dana because the league is more fan friendly.
Yes.
But it is not necessarily athlete friendly. Like the way boxing has been run over the last 2 decades is more boxer friendly. Like they're making more money each time they go out.
Yeah. And
however, the fan suffers because you're not getting the matchups you want.
Right. Because a promoter goes, Fletch, if you're a promoter and you have 2 fighters, you have an A-side fighter and a B-side fighter. If you fight an A-side fighter with another A-side fighter from another promotion, you have to split the money in half. Whereas if you fight 2 fighters from your stable, you get to keep everything. So it just makes business sense. That has hurt boxing. But yeah, this whole UFC boxing, now promoters trying to get into each other's sports is causing a lot of dissension. And I'm pretty surprised Eddie Hearn got Tom Aspinall today.
Did you see Max Holloway doing the no-no? He's fighting this weekend, right?
He's fighting Charles Oliveira. That's
and
he's talking
smack about Paramount Plus, who just bought the UFC rights. Come on, Max. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Max Holloway's
I am excited for that fight, but all right. Big 3, number 3 was
WBC. The Team USA is the odds-on favorite ahead of Japan, ahead of the Dominican Republic. It kind of got me thinking about the WBC, but obviously a lot of the Padres stars, Machado and Tatis, playing for the Dominican Republic, and then you got Bogarts playing for Netherlands, Mason Miller playing for America. We were talking before the show. And I'm curious, text line, Texas 70470, start your message with team. If Bogarts or Tatis or Machado are raking during the WBC, as all of us, we hope that happens. But does it put even more pressure on them to have good starts to the season? Because if Manny Machado or Bogarts or Tatis is destroying the WBC and putting up unreal numbers, and so far in the exhibition games, they look unbelievable.
Manny hit a bomb the other day.
Tatis was excellent. He had like 3 hits the other day from the plate. If they start the season slow, are people more frustrated in San Diego, or is this a product of they're going to have leeway because it is such a long baseball season?
So here's what I'll say about the performance in general. If any of those 3 guys struggle a lot this year, the fire's getting hot. And it's like there's some ire from Padres fans that is well-deserved for those 3 guys. Here's what would make me personally more upset. If I see the Fernando Tatis Jr. for Team Dominican Republic, which we will see, by the way, be that kind of team leader, spark guy,
which he's kind of looked like so far,
dancing all over the place, super congratulatory to everybody. And then he comes back to the Padres and is pouty Fernando, which we saw a lot of last year. That's what would piss me off a little bit, because he's such a mental baseball player, man. And when things are going good for Fernando, man, it's going good for the Padres and it's going real good for him. But when he gets in that headspace, which is the pouty Fernando headspace, it affects the entire team. So if we see that Fernando on display at the WBC and all of a sudden week 1 for the Padres comes around and he's back to being pouty, that's what would actually make me mad.
You feel like you get to, like with the Dominican Republic, Tatis, even though he's one of the best players on the team.
That team is vibes, baby.
It's vibes, but he also doesn't have to be the leader. He just gets to be the star in Fernando that he is and the showcase off his talent that he has. When you get to the Padres, it's kind of an interesting situation because Tatis is, I think, universally accepted as the best player, but is he the leader on the team? Machado, I think, is much more of a leader than Tatis would be. Merrill feels like he's too young to be the clubhouse leader. Like, is it a guy like Joe Musgrove? You feel like a guy like Joe Musgrove coming back is kind of that glue guy that everyone points to as that guy kind of runs the team.
I do think I heard you and Chafee talking about this yesterday in that first hour where John kind of talked about Musgrove as he's going to go down as like kind of an all-time Padre, even though his numbers aren't great. But Joe Musgrove is just, he feels like such a Padre. His family owns the coffee shop. Like it's a lot of that.
It's like Mr. San Diego.
Yeah. And so I do kind of feel like him being back mentally is going to have a great toll on this team. Plus, hopefully the Polaroids come back and everything that Joe Musgrove does for the team. It's all important in baseball. It's less important in other sports. In baseball, where you're in the same locker room, in the same dugout with the same guys for 162 games, you got to have that stuff there. It's got to be fun. Otherwise, you see droughts of 25 plus games where Manny looks like a minor leaguer, where Fernando looks like a minor leaguer. And then all of a sudden they turn it around. It
is to your point. I mean, last year they started off 14-3 and the vibes are high.
Immaculate.
It's easy to go to the presser when you're winning. I mean, it's fun taking questions when you're sweeping teams in series. And then when you get swept by the Dodgers in August, remember Machado didn't go to the presser. There was a lot of drama, guys not talking to the media. It feels like on this team, you have to figure that out a little bit about it can't get so high and so low because throughout a baseball season, to your point, you're going to have highs and lows. And if you kind of get too involved with that, it's too much of an emotional roller coaster.
Jay Sills, get hashtag Pouty Nando out the chat. We don't need that.
Jay Sills calling it out.
We're keeping that away for this year. 2026 is the year of Happy Nando. Hashtag Happy Nando. Hashtag Faith and Sammy. All right, quick break here on the other side. Sammy, repeat after me. Being a cannibal is bad.
Being a cannibal is bad.
Being a cannibal is bad. I'll tell you why on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Allstate. Big trade out of the NFL today. DJ Moore heading to the Buffalo Bills and a 5th-round pick. The Bears are getting back a 2nd-round pick. The Bills will be eating about $15.5 million of his salary. Out of the NBA, Jason Tatum, star for the Boston Celtics, will be making his debut tomorrow night against the Dallas Mavericks. He has not played all season for the Celtics. And the Lakers taking on the Nuggets tonight. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 7 o'clock. Denver is currently a 4.5-point home favorite. Wish you could save on home insurance. With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long, and a little Snoop Dogg with you for the next couple of hours.
Shout out to Snoop and his Olympics coverage.
As we get going on the show today, we do have a 4-pack of tickets for the brand new Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. We're going to give those away in the next 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere. But first, we're going to talk about why I have to keep repeating this. Cannibal is bad. You don't want to be a cannibal. Eating other people is a bad thing, but it's also a bad thing in the world of college basketball. And unfortunately, the Mountain West is full of cannibals here in 2026. You know, there's never been a regular season conference champion that's had as many losses as the regular season conference champion will have this year in the Mountain West. And it was just 3 or 4 years ago where the Mountain West, it felt like every single year was sending 4 or 5 teams into the NCAA tournament. This year, they are playing themselves into a potential 1-bid league. The Mountain West is, I think, probably most likely it's still going to be 2 teams. It's going to be whoever wins the conference championship and Utah State. But if Utah State loses again, which they've been losing a lot lately, there's a real chance they don't make the NCAA tournament as an at-large. If they lose twice here in the next couple of games, one being their final game of the season, which I'm pretty sure they play New Mexico, don't they? In the final game of their season. And then once again, in the first round of the Mountain West tournament, there's a chance that Utah State's no longer an at-large bid. So the way New Mexico lost last night, by the way, everyone has lost a ton. San Diego State could have been in a tie for first place once again had they just beaten or had gotten a win in their most recent time out. And so for the Aztecs, I almost want to leave them out of this conversation entirely. But the fact that the Mountain West has just picked each other off as much as they have so far this season is really leading to a pretty dark place for the final season of the Mountain West as we know it, with a potential for one team making the NCAA tournament. It doesn't feel right with how good this league has been this year.
It's disappointing. I mean, you talk about, this is the great part about college basketball is the home court environments. And the worst part about it is the home court environments, because the fact that it's a testament to the Mountain West and their fan bases, because there's so many tough places to play. And obviously Viejas probably tops that list, but it's hard to get road wins. And when you're not playing the Big 12, when you're not playing in the SEC and you're playing ranked AP opponents sometimes twice a week, I mean, you can afford to have a lot of losses because just 1 or 2 wins can give you some real resume builders. This is why next week, I'm curious how the Aztecs approach tomorrow night. It's senior night. It's at Viejas. It's a Friday night. I think people are going to be juiced up for this game.
UNLV is very good.
Very good.
Especially lately.
The Aztecs need some juice heading into next week, because can the Aztecs win 3 straight games? I believe they can. But it's also, I could see them losing in the first round. I mean, it's hard to determine what Aztecs team we're getting. If the team that got out rebounded the other night, 37-15 shows up, they're probably not winning 3 straight games. Next week, it's going to take them as far as the front court can take them, because at the end of the day, I believe that Reese Dixon-Waters, BJ Davis, Miles Bird, all the LZ Harrington, all the guards this team has, even though they've had some problems playing together at times this year, I believe they're the most talented in the Mountain West, and they can figure that out. Next week, in my opinion, is going to completely come down to the front court. Even if they're not scoring, they have to dominate the boards, because the whole point about having really talented guard play and wing play is getting second chance opportunities. And again, 37-15 the other night, that is just unacceptable. And to go, even though it's a neutral site for everyone in Vegas, and win 3 straight games at Viejas, you might be able to get away with being out rebounded, not on the road.
Neutral site for everyone except for Las Vegas, who by the way is pretty good. Now they haven't done well in this tournament ever. But it's a very, very good UNLV team this year. So I think the biggest problem facing the Aztecs now that the at-large bid is largely out the window is the fact that in the Mountain West tournament, the cutoff for being a good team is a lot lower down the league standings this year than it has been in the past. So in the past, you've probably had 6 teams who have a legitimate shot at winning the Mountain West tournament. This year, you can make a case for 8. Easy. You could make a case for 8. The only teams I can't make a case for winning the Mountain West tournament are Wyoming, Fresno State, San Jose State, and Air Force. Those are the only 4 teams. Other than that, UNLV, Nevada, Boise State, Colorado State. By the way, Colorado State and Boise State may be the best 2 teams in the Mountain West right now with how they're playing.
Well, and the Aztecs,
both in a tier below.
To the 4 you just listed that you don't think has a shot to win it, the Aztecs probably aren't playing any of those teams outside of a massive first-round upset. So.
Right. Or something severe changes in the last game of the Mountain West regular season. They could potentially play one of them.
It's weird because you look at it, the Aztecs have certainly played Nevada well. Utah State, I think they played well. They're 1-1 on the season, but even the road performance against Utah State, I thought they played pretty well there. They feel like the better neutral site team. If we're going off history, you don't want to play Grand Canyon. That team is just, not that they're necessarily more talented than the Aztecs.
They've owned San Diego State.
They own them. And the way they play, they get out in transition, it kind of works against the Aztecs. Henley, the guard, is 4-0 against the Aztecs back to his days at UNLV. So, I mean, again, it's the beautiful part about college basketball that you can have a kind of bad last couple of weeks here and you can get a lifeline next week by just winning the Mountain West Conference tournament. But the Aztecs certainly made it hard on themselves because winning 3 straight games in a league that is as deep as the Mountain West is going to be hard.
It does kind of paint the picture of, like, the Mountain West isn't going to get the proper light. I don't think the Aztecs have earned a spot in the NCAA tournament. I could say that honest and fair. I do think the Mountain West has earned more than 1 spot in the NCAA tournament this year. And even if it's not the Aztecs, I think they've earned more than 1 spot because this conference has been really good and it's eaten itself alive. But the fact that it is down to the potential that maybe it is just one team that gets in. Maybe if Utah State goes on a tear and wins 3 games in 3 days, maybe they are the only team in the Mountain West that gets a shot in the NCAA tournament. I don't think that's right at all. I think there's more teams that have deserved a shot. If I was power ranking, by the way, the Mountain West tournament right now, and I had to be completely honest and truthful, I might give Boise State and Colorado State the top 2 spots for making winning the Mountain West Conference.
Right. Well, how have we seen in any tournament? Take not even just the Mountain West, Big 12, Big 10, whatever. It's teams that get hot at the right time, and we've seen bid stealers left and right. So tomorrow, since
the end of January, Boise State's been the best team in the Mountain West.
Right. So you look at tomorrow as kind of, in a weird way, it's a senior night. People are excited, but it's not some important game in terms of it doesn't really matter for their March Madness lives, but it kind of does in a way. It
matters for their tournament seeding.
It matters for the tournament seeding, and you need some mojo back. I mean, you can't go in here on a 3-game losing streak and then expect to go win 3 straight games and have a lot of confidence in that.
You're absolutely right. All right, it's going to be a stressful one at VA House tomorrow. I promise you that. I'm already nervous about it. I know John Schaefer's probably twice as bad as I am right now. Sammy's just holding it together. Mr. Cool over there. You're like the camel in those old cigarette commercials.
I got faith in him.
San Diego Sports 760. Man, I thought Sammy did his best work last night. I really do. I thought it was a perfect parlay. Came up 1 point short.
Literally 1 point short.
Literally 1 point short. Can he get it back here tonight? We'll see. Coming up next, it's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. But first, you want to win a 4-pack of tickets to go see some elephants at the Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park? Call right now, 877-767-4760. It's brand new. The Elephant Valley. Today's the first day it's open to the public at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. They've been working on this thing for like 7 years. And the conceptualization of it was all the way back about 10 years ago. It's open. It's awesome. So get out there as soon as you can. You can win a family 4-pack of tickets right now by calling 877-767-4760. Caller number
11.
You're going to the Safari Park. It's San Diego Sports 760. Long shots next. San Diego Sports 760 tonight at 6 o'clock. It's the Brian Dutcher Coaches Show. The head coach of the Aztecs, Brian Dutcher, is going to sit down with John Schaefer and preview Friday night senior night game at UNLV or against UNLV and more. The Brian Dutcher Coaches Show tonight, 6 o'clock, followed immediately by Lakers Nuggets in Denver, right, Sammy?
Yep, in Denver.
Big game for the Lakers.
Big game for the Lakers. They gotta prove they can beat a legit team. They're on a 3-game win streak right now, but that's coming against the Kings, Pelicans, Warriors without some stars. The Lakers, the big three got to show up tonight against a big-time team if people really want to believe in the Lakers to have some chances this year in the playoffs.
All right, now last night, Sammy's long shots came painfully close to getting us a win and a much-needed win. But last night, it was Charlotte.
6.5-point dogs in Boston.
And they win.
By 20 plus, almost 30.
Clippers beating the crap out of the Pacers. That cashed. And then OKC winning by more than 3.5 points. They won by 3.
Very frustrating beat last night for all of us.
It was the bad beat of the century, man. It really was. We'll see if Sammy can right the ship here. Now, I will say I gave out a Fletch shot at the end of yesterday's show.
Yes, Sanders Shoffley.
And he's playing well. He's in the top 6 here at the API, the Arnold Palmer Invitational out at Bay Hill, which looked incredible today while he was playing. And Xander looked good. He's in position, man. So maybe that can happen in cash for us. But Sammy, let's go ahead and get today's long shots. Go ahead, smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Say that me and his man.
with long shots.
I liked the all 3 NBA last night. I got to watch a lot of NBA last night. My wife was at book club, so I controlled the TV. It was really nice, actually.
What's she's at book club?
She was at book club last night.
What's she reading?
I read it too. It was Project Hail Mary. Really good. The Ryan Gosling movie that's coming out.
Oh,
really, really good.
That looks like is it good or is it looks like an Armageddon knockoff?
So I really didn't know a whole lot going into it, but it is kind of an Armageddon knockoff, but not so much. I think if Ryan Gosling can act as good as we all think he can act, it's going to be an excellent movie because it's going to be a lot of just him.
Okay, I like it.
I'm curious to see how closely they stick to the book because the book is pretty, it's got a lot going on, a lot of different storylines going on, but really, really good. I'm excited about the movie now.
Hell yeah. Shout out to book clubs in America.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
not in the book club. I just read whatever she reads, and I usually enjoy it.
Imagine if we started our book club would be like a comic book.
Well, I think that we're hosting the next book club night, so I get to be bartender and chef for the night. All the husbands do that whenever it's at their house. So
really,
I'm going to have to really up my game.
Okay. All right. We got a 3-leg parlay tonight. We're sticking with the association for this one. All right, let's go. Pistons Spurs. Fun matchup tonight. I'm excited to watch this game. It starts at 5 o'clock because a lot of people, I think you could pick either team to win the NBA championship and people wouldn't call you crazy. Now, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, these two teams played and the Spurs actually beat them 114-103 in Detroit. In the words of Lee Corso, not so fast. Tonight, Detroit, give me plus 3.5. There's too much talent on the road here. Listen, San Antonio is a fantastic team, and they came to that game hungry against Detroit. I think they kind of wanted to prove a point that they could be physical because that's kind of the one knock maybe on San Antonio is although they have excellent guard play, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, they're a little bit of a finesse team. Even Wemby is kind of a finesse player, and Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, they had big nights against the Detroit Pistons. This one, I think Detroit's going to get a little get back, and Jalen Duren will be playing in this game. That's a big add for them. Isaiah Stewart will be playing in this game. Harrison Barnes is out for San Antonio. One of their best defenders, Mason Plumlee, who actually gives Wemby some break when he's out, is out for this game. So I think the Pistons are going to be able to take advantage of the front court with the Spurs. The key to beating the Spurs, if you let Wemby get down to the center block, you're toast. He's too tall. He's too skilled. He's going to get you. The few times that they have gotten after the Spurs this year, anybody, when you make Wemby catch at the 3-point line and put the ball on the floor before he gets to his move, you can have some success. The Pistons are one of the best defensive teams in the league. Give me them at plus 3.5 tonight. I believe in the Pistons. All right, let's stick with the NBA. Raptors, Timberwolves. Big question mark in this game. Game time decision, Anthony Edwards. Game time decision, Brandon Ingram. I'm going to rock with the Raptors plus 4.5 on the road. Now, last time we bet the Raptors, things didn't go too well. Knicks absolutely obliterated them. 111-95. Kind of disappointed in how the Raptors came out. That was their last game. They're coming off a little bit of rest. Minnesota is a very talented team, but I think the Raptors' response tonight, again, it was an odd performance against the Knicks. The Knicks were looking to make a point because they have had problems. They can't beat Detroit. They want to show they could beat some top-tier teams in the Eastern Conference in Toronto. Toronto responds against Minnesota. Scotty Barnes, one of the best two-way players that probably doesn't get talked about enough, averages about 20 points per game, a constant all-NBA, all-defensive team. Brandon Ingram is going to try to prove a point tonight. I think he's going to be able to get after it. A lot of talent up and down that roster. Minnesota, it's kind of the Anthony Edwards show, and then a lot of just talent. You got DiVincenzo, Julius Randle. There's a solid bunch that plays good defense, but the Raptors, a little bit of a rest advantage. Give me them plus 4.5 on the road. And if Anthony Edwards isn't playing this number, they're going to shoot to the favorite. So I think we get some value here at plus 4.5 with Toronto. And then we're going to go to the Lakers Nuggets.
Uh-oh.
Now, people get nervous when
I
talk about the Lakers, right? Because people think, and to be fair to me, I have bet against my Lakers in years past, okay?
Yeah, but even when you bet against them, it doesn't work.
Yes, we have.
So you're allergic to betting the Lakers.
Here's the lowdown on this game. Hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760, by the way.
Yeah.
Denver and the Lakers. Denver has had the Lakers numbers in years past. Okay? The Lakers actually beat them in the last matchup earlier this year.
I'm taking Denver. But whatever Sammy says, I'm taking Denver.
But Nikola Jokic didn't play in that game. Denver is missing a couple key players tonight. Aaron Gordon, excellent defensive player. Peyton Watson, excellent defensive player, has become a key cog for them offensively this season. Now, the thing with the Nuggets is this. They average 120 points per game. They give up 116. Aaron Gordon, when he plays, that drops about 7 points per game. They average about 113. So they don't play a lot of defense. It's been up in the air this year with Denver. Cam Johnson is back tonight. On the Lakers side of things, I got a weird feeling that the Lakers are going to show up in this game, but I'm staying away from the spread because the Lakers, they're hard to bet because when the Lakers show up, they can beat a lot of teams. I know they haven't beaten the top tier competition yet, but when Luka, Reeves, and LeBron are playing well together, the big three have started to play a little bit better in the last week. They need a signature win like this. I think they've had this game circled, but we're staying away from the point spread because 4.5 Denver feels like a fair advantage. They're at home in the Mile High City, even though Luka has had some big advantages here. I think the Lakers show up in this game, so we're going to the point total. 240.5. Give me the over. The Lakers have been playing a lot of zone recently, and if the Lakers play zone tonight, they're cooked, in my opinion. Because if they try to play zone against Nikola Jokic, who can pass out, find shooters in Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, the Lakers are not a very good defensive team. They're going to be giving up a lot of points. In Denver, with no Aaron Gordon, no Peyton Watson, I think the big three are going to be able to get after this a little bit. And now the Lakers have a player like Luke Kennard who can stand on the three-point line and hit shots. He's been playing well the last week. I like the over in the game, over 240.5. I know it's a big number, but neither team plays much defense. Denver ranks one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and the Lakers aren't far behind either. So both offenses put on a clinic. We're going over 240.5 in Nuggets Lakers tonight. Give me the Raptors plus 4.5 on the road. Take it on Minnesota. And I also like another road team, Detroit plus 3.5, getting a little revenge against the San Antonio Spurs.
I liked everything you said except your Lakers pick, so I went rogue and I took the Nuggets minus 5.5.
I didn't pick the Lakers. I picked the over.
I know, but I just I'm not trusting you picking a Lakers game in any capacity.
I wouldn't. I got a feeling I wouldn't bet the Nuggets tonight.
Well, I already did, so I don't know. I got $10 to win 75.
Luka has had some massive games against Jamal Murray.
I'm excited to see what happens here tonight. All right, if you don't know what's going on, the San Diego Padres are kind of kicking some ass today in spring ball. They're playing against the Mariners. Sungmun Song hit his first home run in a Padres uniform. That's nice to see. And the Padres are winning 12-0 over the M's, the Mariners, so far today. So or is that who they're playing? Yeah, they are playing Seattle. So the Eddie Vedder Classic, what do they call it? The Vedder Cup?
Oh my God.
Lean one Padres.
Why does it annoy me when people talk about that?
Because it's a big deal, Sammy.
First off, Eddie Vedder,
natural rivalry.
Eddie Vedder was at the Cubs. Wasn't he at the Cubs?
Padres he's a huge Cubs fan.
He's a Cubs fan, a Mariner fan, a Padre fan. I mean,
he's a Cubs fan who has ties to the Mariners and the Padres.
Like Padres Dodgers is a rivalry. Can we stop forcing other?
That's called the Lopez Cup. Mario Lopez, born in San Diego, diehard Dodger fan.
Yeah, but Padres Dodgers is a real rivalry. I lived in Seattle for 3 years.
It wasn't always. It was Dodgers Giants was the rivalry. That was like the rivalry in baseball. It was like Yankees Red Sox, Dodgers Giants.
When Dodgers Giants is on. Yeah, is it?
And then the Padres just snuck in like the last 5 years.
Have the Padres Dodgers passed Dodgers Giants?
I think so. I really do think so. I think it's a bigger draw.
Yeah, because the Giants haven't really been outside of when they won the division. What was that? 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, but even then they were early bounce in the postseason.
Right. They didn't have a star. Yeah, I mean, Dodgers.
It goes back to the Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent going against the Dodgers. Like those days were huge. And then it got to the era where the Giants dominated baseball for 5 years, 3 World Series in 5 years. Was that what it was? I think so.
Yeah.
And that was the Bumgarner teams, and those were huge games. And then all of a sudden, over the last 5 years, it's been Padres Dodgers. That's the top rivalry in the NL West.
Agreed.
Things change. But really, the Padres Mariners is the rivalry.
When I hear the Mariners coming to town, I lived in Seattle. I have friends who are diehard Mariner fans, and they have never once mentioned the Padres as a team they hate. Like not one time.
Not. Who would? It's ridiculous. It's made up. It's a Fugazi.
Fugazi.
Yeah. San Diego Sports 760. We got big words here from noon to 2, baby.
Because we got
a whole other hour of this. Vinny Bonsignore, speaking of big words, Bonsignore is kind of a big word. It's coming up in hour number 2. You'll hear all about it. Coming up next, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by the Brad versus Everyone podcast. Big NFL trade today. DJ Moore on his way to the Buffalo Bills. They sent a second round pick back to Chicago. Chicago also sent a 5th round pick with DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. Lakers back tonight, taking on the Nuggets in Denver. Nuggets currently a 4.5 point favorite in that one. Hear that game on San Diego Sports 760 tonight at 7:00. And star forward Jason Tatum making his return tomorrow night, his season debut against the Dallas Mavericks for the Boston Celtics. Dangerous social media trends, media scandals, dumb TikTok boycotts, and more. Keep up with all the online stories mainstream media ignores by listening to the Brad versus Everyone podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer is going to take over. Then a couple of YouTube chats to get to here before we get going in hour number 2. Our buddy SD Tyler saying Xander looking good out there today. Yeah, Xander Schauffele played very, very well today. I believe he finished 6 under, tied for 7th.
Faith in Fletcher.
Faith in Fletcher. I like that a lot. Steven saying, how about those Padres? Yeah, they're up 12-0 on the M's right now. Rich McGuire sung Mung Song with the power. Dude, he hit a bomb. First one in a Padres uniform. Good for him. Jay Silv saying Cactus Ball, and Rich also saying Spurs at home is hard to bet against Sammy. 21-6 so far this season, but hashtag faith in Sammy.
Rich, I hear you. I understand the concern. I just feel like Cade Cunningham, Wemby in the MVP conversation. If Cade wants to win this thing, he's got to beat Wemby down the stretch here. I think Cade Cunningham, I got a hunch he's got something tonight.
Sammy likes going road dogs. If I'm learning anything about his betting style,
I like road dogs. I like taking the points on the road, especially on an NBA night, a random night, a Thursday. You can catch some teams lacking.
All right. Well, we did have some breaking news regarding yesterday's long shots. You want to tell everybody what that was?
Oh, okay. So as of 3 minutes ago, the NBA does a report where they kind of review official calls of officiating and give it a review.
Like a baseball report card on an umpire.
Exactly. So we needed the Thunder to win by 5 points. They won by 3 points last night. Apparently, the Thunder missed. There were 2 calls that went against the Oklahoma City Thunder that the NBA came out and said today were massive misses. So
the NBA is listening to our show. Adam Silver is listening to our show on a daily basis, understanding the amount of money that goes into various betting apps around the country based off of this show and Sammy Long's recommendations. And Adam Silver is slipping little tiny pieces of paper that he chews up first and then spits into a tube that goes all the way to different arenas across the country to make sure that the officials are aware of the fact that Sammy Long and the betting public of San Diego and the world are on one thing, and he's making sure it goes the other way.
I don't like that they're out to get us.
A conspiracy has been hatched here on San Diego Sports 760 at 1:04 on Thursday, March 5th. At 1:04 and 10 seconds, that Adam Silver is coming after us. I advise we all boycott Adam Silver.
It's the power of the San Diego betting public.
That's what it is, man. So we're not just San Diego. Come on, Sammy. We're worldwide. We got listeners up in Canada. We got listeners up in Florida. We got listeners in is it Iowa? I think in Iowa we got a couple people.
We're all around the globe.
Everywhere. Central Valley too. Shout out Alex Fletcher, my big brother.
Hey, shout out to Alex Fletcher.
It is San Diego Sports 760. I do want to touch on this before we get to the big 3 here. The World Baseball Classic gets going in earnest today. Tomorrow night, Team USA will play their first real WBC game against Brazil. It's a 5 o'clock start time here on the Pacific Coast. That's a good time. It's a good time for us all to be able to sit down and watch primetime Friday evening. I will be at San Diego State's game. Sammy, are you coming tomorrow night to the game?
I will be coming to the game.
Perfect. So Sammy and I are going to be at the Aztecs game. But if you're having a normal Friday night, this is a good thing for you to barbecue, watch this game. Maybe you have an outdoor projector. It's a good time for you to watch some Team USA baseball. But is this a draw? Team USA hockey was a draw. My entire social circle was talking about Team USA hockey. We all got up early in the morning to watch the finale against Team Canada. That was a draw. The country was talking about Team USA hockey, which is a good thing for sports.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks, is the country going to be talking about Team USA baseball?
Text us 70470. Start your message with team.
I don't know my answer yet. I think it was easy to get behind Team USA hockey. I think the storylines were all there for it. There was some redemption to be had, and it ended up being Team USA versus Team Canada, and that it was
the matchup everyone wanted.
It was storybook. It really was, and it was easy to get behind because the girls won it, and then a couple days later the guys won it, and that was easy for everyone to kind of get behind and watch the whole story unfold. Is it that easy with Team USA baseball?
I think if we're comparing it to USA hockey, the Olympics bring just a crowd already. It's the Olympics. Right. It's obviously bigger than the WBC, but I think it will, because if we get USA Japan, if we get USA Dominican Republic, USA Mexico, people are going to be really excited. I think maybe some of the early qualifying matches where you see teams that are so much better than everyone else, and the US is the favorite at -110, Japan's +350, Dominican Republic's +400. So teams like Italy don't have a shot. Teams like Great Britain, I mean, like, let's be real, they're not major leaguers. So, literally, some of their teams are made up of teachers and people who like have everyday jobs.
Jazz Chisholm Jr. is on Great Britain's team.
Well, Jazz
did not know he was British.
He will be the hero of New York if he comes through for that one. But I think it will as we get farther in, because if we remember, I mean, Mike Trout versus Shohei Ohtani, that was
epic.
That was cinema.
Look, that was stop what you're doing, turn on the closest TV. You got to watch this.
So do I think USA Brazil, assuming it's not a close game, because we should dominate that game with all the talent that's on this American team. Is it the Olympic hockey level? I don't know about that, but I do think people will really get into it here over the next week or so. And especially when, like, the biggest detriment to it could be that March Madness starts in a week or two.
That's a big deal. The Masters is right around the corner. I don't think that'll interfere with anything. But the other thing I think that hurts the WBC, how many Padre fans are not even going to be rooting for Team USA because they want to see Team Dominican Republic do better because Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado are on that team? Like, I have a hard time separating out. Like, there's a lot of guys on Team USA I really don't like because of who they play for.
Oh,
not even because
I want
of the
Team
person.
USA to win.
But how many Dodgers are on Team USA? How many?
Yeah,
Yankees
but come on,
are
it's
Team USA?
Team USA.
I see. I know. With my heart of hearts, I want to say, yeah, I'm going to go root for Team USA. If Kershaw's on the mound, I don't know that I can root for Team USA.
Come on now.
But
Team USA.
Team Dominican Republic. If I see Fernando out dancing at the top of the
You're
dugout,
telling me you're going to root for the Dominican Republic over Team USA?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
That's unpatriotic.
I think so too. It makes me feel gross even saying it, Sammy. But that is for sure a factor going into this. That people who are baseball fans, it's easy with hockey, right? There's not too many. There's a lot. Not as many as baseball though, who are diehard fans of one NHL team, where their team is split amongst several teams in the Olympic Games, right? But in baseball, there's major league players on a ton of these teams, and you can be a diehard fan of that player.
Yes, but that's okay. So that's where Canada and the U.S. and hockey had. Even for hockey fans, Canada, casual people know who Connor McDavid is. He's a star. People know who Jack Hughes is now. Like, there's Matthew Tkachuk. There are name brand players, big time NHL players. Both rosters were completely made up of NHL guys. If we're seeing, that's what made the U.S. versus Japan so exciting last time, because you had Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, like big time players, household names that were playing and going up against each other. So, right, if we get the U.S. versus Dominican Republic and Tatis and Machado, Juan Soto, Christopher Sanchez, household names, I think people are really going to care. If it's a Cinderella story where it's a lot of non-MLB players, you need Major League Baseball stars to sell this thing, which is why I do think the knockout rounds are going to be really exciting in a week.
I am trying to think about the fact that if it's like Tariq Skubal against Fernando Tatis Jr. in like a big moment in the semifinals or something of the WBC, I don't know who I'm rooting for.
858 says, I don't think people are getting up to watch the WBC, especially people under 30. You guys only watch because it's your job.
Is that true? I mean, I watched it a couple years ago. It's, by the way, Sammy and I don't have to watch anything we don't want to watch. We get paid to talk about. I think if we care about something, then you care about it. Maybe the one thing we probably get paid to watch, I'd be watching it anyways. Yeah, I don't know. But the WBC, like, if we don't want to talk about it or watch about it, we don't have to. There's no contractual obligation.
I'm excited for the WBC. I think people, but what 858 is saying, I think, again, baseball is a sport where, especially if you're taking the WBC and you're taking out name brands like the Dodgers, Padres, Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, jerseys that sell, people that you put that jersey on, people care. You need the stars to make this happen. So again, if you get Dominican Republic, if you're getting Tatis and Soto versus Judge and Bryce Harper, people are going to be excited. Baseball fans are going to be excited about that.
And by the way, if it sucks, we won't talk about it. I'll tell you that. Promise you that. All right, let's get to the big three here of hour number 2, Sammy, where Sammy rips through the top stories in the world of sports. 20 minutes for you Raiders fans. You're going to find out the fate of Maxx Crosby because we got Raiders insider Vinny Bonsignore jumping on. But right now it's time for the big three. Sammy Smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big three.
484, Fletch just likes calling out the name Big Papi in the Dominican Republic as a cat call. 858, Fletch, it's the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back of the jersey. Yeah, I mean, all those things work.
You can't be rooting against Team USA.
I do think I'm rooting for Team USA. But
why is that a question?
Because Aaron Judge is on Team USA. Clayton Kershaw. Is Mookie Betts on Team USA? I think he is.
No, he's off.
He's not? Wow. That feels like a mistake.
You're telling
That
me
feels like a big mistake. What is Team USA doing? Not putting.
I mean, there were like, as a LA Kings fan, there were players on the Team USA team that I couldn't stand, but I'm rooting for Team USA.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it when the time comes. It'll be a natural emotion, whatever it is. All right, Sammy, where are we going?
Last night, so we maligned the Thunder winning by only 3 points last night, not covering the spread for us. But within the game, Mike Brown said this about SGA, who has been called a foul merchant. People have really criticized Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's game over the last few years. SGA does a, quote, great job of convincing refs he's getting hit. Talking about SGA getting foul calls, do we think SGA gets a bad rap? Because it feels like SGA gets a lot of criticism for being such an amazing player.
Right. So, yes. And by the way, same thing happened with LeBron. Even though I think the numbers have been run, LeBron gets less calls against him than some other people.
Because he would get calls every time.
Right. So, but here's my thoughts on SGA. Regular season, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. I also think SGA shut a lot of people up last year in the postseason.
Definitely.
Because fouls get called a lot less in the postseason. He had to work his way to that NBA Finals win for OKC. He got fouled the entire time. Fouls get called less in the postseason. SGA was still a dominant force in the postseason. So while I think regular season, that's a valid gripe, and I think last night that's a valid gripe, and maybe SGA hams it up a little bit, he's not going to get those same calls in the postseason. That's where legacies are made. So I do think SGA shut up a lot of that conversation last year in the finals and in the entire postseason run through the West.
I do feel like SGA gets a bad rap as a star because he's very kind of soft spoken. He's not 1, 2, 3. Everyone look at me. I'm a star. I'm the best player.
He's Mike Trout if Mike Trout won.
It is a great comp outside of the winning. Mike Trout hasn't had that, but yes, if he's kind of does his job, excellent player. He's not having highlight reel dunks like Anthony Edwards. He's not talking trash like Anthony Edwards, which we like in our stars. Jason Tatum has had a lot of this as well. Jason Tatum is a great player. He's a nice guy. He's very kind of soft spoken. Jaylen Brown
Tatum just seems soft as a human.
Like
SGA has a little more of the killer instinct.
Yes, I think so as well. But Jason Tatum has a killer instinct on the court. I just think we're used to Kobe, Michael Jordan, stars over the. I mean, Reggie Miller throwing the choke up at the Garden. Even Tyrese Halliburton last year doing that. LeBron, stars in the league who are much more outspoken and are like, no, I'm him. And SGA doesn't really fit that mold. So I think he gets crushed for that, even though he is a great player. I think he's a foul merchant. He gets calls. I think that's a little blown out of proportion. The real foul merchant the last decade was James Harden.
Yes.
He got calls left and right. SGA can shut people up by simply just winning. All right. Aaron Rodgers said he is undecided on the Pat McAfee show on his future yesterday.
You see what else he said?
I did see what else he said. We can't say that on the radio, but go look up that clip. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers undecided on his future. Should the Steelers get Aaron Rodgers back for one more year and try to draft the quarterback next year, or go get Kyler Murray?
I mean, I do think I would go Kyler Murray. Personally, I would. I think that there's a more exciting future with Kyler Murray, and I don't think we've seen the best of Kyler Murray. The Aaron Rodgers thing, I think the standard NFL fan is sick of it, is fed up with it, is done with it. Are we on our 5th year now of Aaron Rodgers contemplating retirement every single offseason? Like, the shtick is up, dude. And it'd be one thing if you went out there and had close to MVP numbers. It would be one thing if you went up there to have upper half of the league type numbers last year as the Steelers starting quarterback, but you didn't. And there was nothing outrageously exciting about the way Aaron Rodgers played ball last year. So I think the entire NFL world, we're fine if you just hang it up. We don't need the weekly appointments on TV to talk about your decision. We don't need any of that. So I would be A-okay. I think the rest of the NFL would be fine if Aaron Rodgers was just done. We don't need the charade this offseason.
Yeah, he's past it. And with the Steelers are not winning a Super Bowl this year. They run the same thing back every year. They might be good enough to win the division. I don't think so this year because Burrow's healthy. The offense for the Bengals are healthy. I think the Ravens are going to be a really good football team coming up next year. And the only way I see Rodgers being back is, do you want to tank and try to get a quarterback? Now, the caveat to that, it's supposed to be a great quarterback draft class next year. Now, we said that it was going to be this year, as well, and it's not. It's just Mendoza and then a lot of kind of big question marks. But looking at Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Jaden Mayava, Lenora Sellers, there's a lot of big-time names coming out next year. The Steelers could finally, if they bottom out, be in a position to take one of those guys. But if you do believe Kyler Murray can have a career resurrection, and I do think he can, Kyler Murray has the talent to become kind of have a second act, superstar performance in this league. If you believe he's that guy, then get him. But if it doesn't work out, Kyler Murray's good enough to win you 6, 7 games, 8 games, where you're not picking at the top of the draft, which would be a big mistake for them.
YouTube, Rich, was that for me that just hit that home run for the Padres? Let me know. I saw the tail end of it. I didn't see the whole thing of it, but I think Freddie for me just hit a blast for the Pods. You got one more, Sammy?
Yes, the NFL mock draft. Jordan Reed just dropped an NFL mock. Get this, in the top 14 picks, there's one SEC player. There's one. It's the corner out of LSU, Delane. Have we seen a complete shift in the in college football? Because for years it was the SEC is the dominant conference. For years it was the SEC is really college football, and everyone else comes in below that. Well, the SEC hasn't won a championship in multiple years. The Big Ten went back to back with Michigan and Ohio State, and then you had Indiana. Or Big Ten won 3 straight years with Indiana this year. I mean, have we seen a complete power shift, or is this just a down year for the SEC?
I mean, it is funny because there were years, man, where you could go like the top 10 linemen in a draft all came out of Georgia. Like the first round was just littered with Georgia defensive players.
They say it's 7 first-round picks that winner?
And now this doesn't mean like Georgia's probably going to have more first-round picks not in the top 15 this year, but it is crazy that does feel like the power has completely shifted, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think it'll shift back to the SEC at some point. There's a lot of schools with great NIL programs in the SEC. It will shift back, and it'll go back and forth for a while. But yeah, at least for right now, it feels like SEC is number 2.
Well, we talk about, and I don't want to get this before everyone goes, oh, you're comparing the Mountain West to the SEC. The SEC is a gazillion times better conference than the Mountain West. Sorry, in terms of football. But we talk about cannibalizing each other. Look at the SEC for years had Alabama and Georgia, who were a cut above everyone else. In Alabama, without Nick Saban, has come back to the pack a little bit, and Kalen DeBoer. In Georgia, has come back to the pack a little bit. Still an excellent football program, but not quite the same. And you're seeing your Missouris are really talented. Your LSUs, all these teams are talented enough to where Vanderbilt, it's tough to go get road wins, but they don't have the same top 25 presence they used to have. And it feels like all the top tier teams, your Indianas, your Ohio States, Michigans, Oregon, they're all in the Big Ten. Even the Big 12 is now a big presence in the NFL draft and has been really successful the last few years. I think Lincoln Riley said it. The SEC, everyone can pay their players now, and the SEC was doing it for years under the table. It feels like everyone's caught up, and the power has shifted in college football.
Vermean hit a 3-run home run. Jackson Merrill just hit an absolute bomb. That boy is feral heading into 2026. We like it. Padres have scored 17 runs today against the Mariners, and it's the 3rd inning of this game. So that's good.
Jackson Merrill, X factor for the Padres season.
Yeah, you like that. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. Coming up in 10 minutes, Vinny Bonsignore is going to be on the show. You'll hear that coming up live on the iHeartRadio app. Vinny Bonsignore in 5 minutes talking some AFC West ahead of this season. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. From the 615 says, we have to talk about the fact that Aaron Rodgers completely made up being married. No one has ever seen her. And as far as I know, no one has ever vouched for being at the wedding. And now he says, because of his notoriety, she moved across the pond. Dude is more psychotic than we thought. Aaron Rodgers is married, I thought, to Brittany. Isn't that her name?
No one knows her name.
I thought it was Brittany. I thought we knew that much.
Okay, maybe I don't know. All I know is that if I was a Steeler fan,
I highly doubt he made up getting married.
Yeah, I doubt he made up getting married too. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers. This Aaron Rodgers needs to be studied for how to keep a narrative, a buzz about himself going.
For sure. And look, I think I would jokingly said it's been like 5 years of him doing the retirement charade. I don't think that's a joke at all. I think it has been about 5 years that Aaron Rodgers has been doing the will he, won't he retire at the end of every single season. And now this year, look, Aaron Rodgers is an aging quarterback who's not that good anymore. Yet on March 5th, NFL offseason, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers as much as anybody. And I don't even know that he makes an impact on whatever the next team he's on is. Like, I really don't.
Well, yeah, it's like Aaron Rodgers. Of all these quarterbacks, I don't think Tua moves the needle. I don't think Aaron Rodgers moves the needle.
I would rather have Daniel Jones next year than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because at least now, I wouldn't want to sign Daniel Jones to a long-term deal is if that's what he wants. All these quarterbacks are pure shot in the darks. The only two quarterbacks that you look at have the ability to become something. Malik Willis is the hot name on the free agent market, but I have a hard time buying that because he only played in a few games this year.
Definitely not for 30 mil for me.
Not for 30 mil. If you get him on a flyer, maybe everyone thought he was a project coming out of Liberty. Maybe he could be something. Kyler Murray is the only free agent available quarterback that I look at and go, that's a guy I could try to build a team around, given he's still young. I believe he's only 27 years old and could be something. But this whole Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy storyline. I mean, Pittsburgh fans, if you're a Pittsburgh fan, please text us 70470. Start your message with team. You must be losing your mind. I mean, how many years can you run the same thing back with mediocre quarterback play and an ugly offense to watch and expect different results?
And now a downgraded head coach. Mike McCarthy is not the head coach that Mike Tomlin is.
Mike Tomlin is going to be sitting back and laughing when they have a worse season than he's had. And he got blown out for it in a division with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson.
If I'm a Steelers fan, I'm looking at Mike McCarthy. I'm like, why is Mike McCarthy the head coach for Kyler Murray, who probably needs a young offensive coordinator?
Do you think this is a Pete Carroll situation where he's a lame duck hire for you?
I really do think it could be. Now they signed him to what? 3-year deal?
Right, but contracts, they don't mean anything.
Exactly. So I think the Steelers are in a transition phase. In fact, this was the first time in a long time the Steelers ranked super low on the NFL anonymous players, readers poll, whatever it is. But the Steelers were near the bottom. And so I think they're in an era of transition, not just at the head coaching level, quarterback level. They probably got to start from scratch on a lot of things. They got to upgrade their facilities. They got to bring in some free agents and look, no one's moving to Pittsburgh just to move to Pittsburgh, right? If you're going to be a draw, you got to make sure the facilities are up. Pittsburgh has a lot of changing to do, and staying the same does not make sense to me.
And look at the division. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens with the young head coach and Jesse Minter. I think Zach Taylor, this is his last year with Cincy. I think they should have gotten a new head coach, but I'm looking at Mike McDaniel. If he has a good year with the Chargers, if you're Mike McDaniel, wouldn't you want to go coach Joe Burrow and Cincy, assuming he's still there? The Steelers are in this odd place where they're third in their division right now, and it's just not a lot of hope offensively going forward.
We'll see. It's going to be a fun year next year in the NFL. I can promise you that. All right, Vinny Bonsignore is coming up next. Vinny covers the Raiders. He also covers all the AFC West. We'll get into it with him on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by the White House Briefing Room with John Decker. Massive trade out of the NFL today. DJ Moore on his way to the Buffalo Bills and a 5th-round pick for a 2nd-round pick that the Bears are getting back in that deal. And the Lakers are back tonight taking on the Denver Nuggets live in Denver. That game will be at 7 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760. Join John Decker for 15 minutes of no-spin White House coverage straight from the press briefing room on his new podcast. Subscribe now to the White House Briefing Room on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer is going to be taking over then. All right, we've talked a ton about the AFC West the last couple of days with the Kansas City Chiefs clearing up more cap space, with the Raiders being the most talked about team in football over the last few weeks, with Maxx Crosby potentially on the move and with the number 1 overall pick in their hands. So right now we bring in Vinny Bonsignore from out in Las Vegas covering the Raiders. Vinny, how are you, man? It's been too long.
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. It's good to hear your voice. Good to talk to you. So Maxx Crosby, how much longer is he a Las Vegas Raider?
That's a great question. I would imagine we're going to get some sort of a resolution here pretty quickly, and it doesn't mean that he's going to get traded. I think the Raiders are, they've got a bit of a line that they've drawn in the sand, and what they are willing to accept and what they aren't willing to accept, they ultimately control the situation. Regardless of whether Maxx wants to go or not, he's under contract to them for a couple of more years, and he's obviously been the face of their franchise and the heart and soul of their team. And he's an all-pro player, one of the true difference makers in football. So he's not somebody that they're just going to give away. So if somebody that wants him, and I would suspect that plenty of teams do, they're going to have to come correct and meet the demand that the Raiders are asking for.
Can you speak to Tom Brady's influence on the organization? Because there's been reports that he met with Fernando Mendoza. They had a great meeting. Then there was that odd report that apparently Maxx Crosby was frustrated with Tom Brady's trainer. How involved is Tom Brady with the Raiders kind of day to days?
Well, day to day is a little bit tricky. He's obviously in constant contact with John Spytek and Mark Davis, but specifically John Spytek. He's the president of football operations. He's not allowed to have that title as a minority owner, but that's basically what he is. And so he's part of everything that the Raiders do and are doing. And so, without question. Now, of course, day to day, it's John Spytek, the general manager. Mark Davis made that pretty clear when they moved on from Pete Carroll. What the chain of command was going to be, and it's John Spytek and Tom Brady running football operations, with the day-to-day being John Spytek and Tom Brady being a very big voice in everything that the club does.
You can find Vinny's work in the California Post. Also, he hosts the morning tailgate on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m. out there in Las Vegas. So check out Vinny all over the place. Vinny, the quarterback situation, the thought is it's Fernando Mendoza, and knowing Vegas like I know Vegas, he's going to be plastered all over the place. So not drunk, but plastered, literally. Posters of him are going to be everywhere. Do you think Fernando Mendoza is ready for that level of hype coming into Las Vegas?
Yeah. Obviously that's going to be that's going to be not a culture shock for him, but he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but it feels like he's kind of wired for this. I mean, you don't go do what he did at Indiana and all the scrutiny and all the attention that was put on him, winning the Heisman Trophy, being basically their go-to guy every moment, every crunch time moment that Indiana had and needed him to step up. He did, and so it feels like he's wired correctly for it. He's going to get embraced by Raider Nation. I mean, there's obviously a strong heritage with Raiders and the Hispanic community. I already could see all the Mendoza jerseys, that people are buying up already, and soon to be official jerseys that they can buy. When you talk about Tom Flores and Jim Plunkett and the great heritage that they represent, it's kind of it makes for a real seamless acceptance of Fernando Mendoza as the Raiders quarterback. And I think for the first time since I've been covering this team, and it was basically in 2019 that I took over the beat, I've not sensed this level of everybody's behind this and everybody's behind Clint Kubiak when it comes to Raider Nation. I've not experienced that. There was disdain immediately with Josh McDaniels' hire. Antonio Pierce, I don't think anyone quite knew what they were getting in Antonio Pierce. He was a linebacker coach in the NFL for a year and a half before he becomes a head coach. Okay, how's that going to work out? It obviously didn't. And there was always apprehension with Pete Carroll based on the age, not necessarily the person or the level of coach. There was always this understanding, okay, what happens in a couple of years when he's 77, 78 years old. Whereas Clint Kubiak paired up with Fernando Mendoza just makes kind of all the sense in the world. And the first time since I've been covering the team, you can feel that energy. And now it's going to take a little while. I think everybody acknowledges that, from Tom Brady to Don Spytek, and it feels like they're willing to do what's necessary to build the runway that you're going to need to get this thing turned around. And the days, hopefully for them, are over of hiring a coach and firing a coach within a year or a year and a half.
What's the timeline for this Raider team? Because we kind of look at the AFC West. The Chiefs just traded Trent McDuffie. They're going to get Mahomes back this year. Broncos winning the division, and the Chargers look to have their entire offensive line. Is this like an extended runway for Clint Kubiak, or do you think this is like there's some pressure to show something this year?
Yeah, I think it's the John Wooden, quote, be quick but don't hurry, and I think that's what the Raiders understand. They can't just sit on their hands. Obviously, everything that they do has to be a decision that's going to pay off in the not so distant future. What I would say is that they have an incredible amount of draft arsenal, including the first pick overall, 9 picks after that. That they can make some real headway, in terms of the roster rebuild. They've got some really good pieces. When you think of Brock Powers and you think of Ashton Genty and Colton Miller and Jackson Powers Johnson, some of the names offensively, and some pretty intriguing young players that they've invested some draft picks on. Defensively, they also got the third most money in the NFL in free agency, salary cap wise. They're printing money in Las Vegas, so they're in a great position there. So as far as a timeline, I don't think that they're looking at 2026 as gotta start winning a bunch of games in 2026. I think they're actually more looking toward 2027 to make a real significant jump. But to do that, they understand you can't waste your time in 2026. There has to be progress. You have to build the proper infrastructure around Fernando Mendoza. He needs to show that he's the guy moving forward. They need to fix the offensive line. They need to retool the defense. If they do trade Maxx Crosby, they need to maximize the assets that they get in that trade to really expedite the rebuild. So I would think that what they're, not sacrificing 2026, but not putting all the pressure on 2026. More so with the idea of let that be a transition year to really, set the foundation in place so that there's a real chance for maybe even a playoff push, a wild card playoff push in 2027.
Follow Vinny on social at Vinny Bonsignore. You can find him on X at that, where he does some excellent work. But Vinny, you look at the AFC West as a whole, and now the Denver Broncos, who knows, there may be a broken ankle away from winning a Super Bowl this year, or at least competing in a Super Bowl this year. The Chargers, I feel like have been kind of quiet outside of the Becton move. I don't know what they're going to do this offseason, but you imagine they would do something to try to help Justin Herbert out. But the Chiefs are cutting salary left and right, and it's been a loud offseason for the Chiefs. But do you think that they are immediately back into the conversation as one of the top teams in the NFL next year, or is this going to take a while to rebuild from what was a rough year last year?
A couple things. How healthy are we talking about with Patrick Mahomes? When is he getting back on the field? Because I think that's the key to the whole thing. Once you get your leader back, your quarterback leader back, then to me anything is possible with that team. Now they have 2 first-round picks. It's interesting though. They may lose both of their cornerbacks. They traded one of them yesterday. Their other starting cornerback might leave in free agency, so we'll see how that goes. I can never count out the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes behind center, and every time you do, he's like, "Yeah, hello, I'm still the best player in the NFL." So I would not be surprised whatsoever if Patrick is healthy to start off next year, that they're right in the thick of things. What's intriguing about the Chargers is the moves that they've made. They've got the most money to spend under the salary cap in the NFL. So they're in really great position. Now they've got a bunch of holes to fill. Their entire interior offensive line is basically either gone or a pending free agent in Zion Johnson. So, but then again, they weren't that good. So that creates a lot of space to be able to bring in. Is it Tyler Linderbaum? Do you also bring in another one of the guards? It's a pretty deep free agency class for guards. So even though on paper it doesn't look good on the interior of the offensive line, they've got so much money and some connections to some of the guys out there that are going to be hitting free agency that you could see it turning around pretty quickly. So they have the means to make some moves to really strengthen some areas of concern. The offensive line, maybe a wide receiver, edge rusher. I could definitely see them in the Trey Hendrickson race. That's a spot that you would think he would look at and say, look, they've got a potential championship caliber quarterback. It's coached by Jim Harbaugh. They've got a lot of pieces in place. It's California. That would be a great landing spot for him. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive that they are, but it looks like anyway, based on the moves that they've made, that they are really setting the table for being a really aggressive in free agency.
Yeah, but Vinny, it's also the Chargers, and they'll probably find some way to screw it up, won't they? They got a pretty good history of doing that. Hey, man, appreciate your time. Love your NFL content, and can't wait to see more of it. We'll have you on as the season gets closer, but always appreciate you, Vinny.
All right, you guys have a good one. Have a great show.
Vinny Bonsignore, find his work over at the California Post. He's the head NFL correspondent with them, and you can also hear him when he does Raider Nation Radio on 9:20 a.m. out in Las Vegas.
Man. See,
I like Vinny, dude. It's like drinking from a fire hose with him sometimes. It's so much information at you coming out, but his Chief stuff kind of made me nauseated.
No, he knows he covers the Raiders.
I know he's right. Also, we all know he's right, Sammy. We like messing with you. When are you going to understand it?
No, all I said was he knows his stuff.
It's funny. Everybody agrees pretty much universally that Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL.
Well, that's not even debatable.
So defensive about the Chiefs at every single turn.
I don't get defensive about the Chiefs. I have to call out nonsense we hear about other teams.
Dude, factual nonsense is just so privileged over the last 10 years. It's just so made in the hay. Congratulations. You guys drafted a guy that a bunch of teams passed on, and he turned out to be amazing. Congratulations. It's very well done. I am
so excited for just NFL free agency as a whole on Monday.
I wore this hat today on purpose. I was thinking about going out to Vegas for Circa Survivor.
By the way, well, obviously we're doing that.
Obviously.
How many entries are we going to have this year? A lot.
I think we might need to just do one entry each.
So we're not communicating. No, we need, first off, hold on. We have listeners who want in on this, which I'm very happy with.
Correct.
We'd love to do with some listeners. We have to do one. I mean, that was our show prep for like a month and a half.
It was so great. Sammy and I would just go through every NFL game and talk about how it was going to look. God, when we got knocked out, I was like, God, the show's going to be so much tougher to do.
I was like,
we would get in fights about different teams, and then that would just lead to on-air conversations. That was fun, man.
We're having
stupid Bengals. I will forever hate them.
I think
it wasn't the Bengals. Who was it?
Yeah, the Jets beat the Bengals. Remember? We picked the Bengals with Joe Flacco.
That's right.
And Justin Fields decides to have a performance of a lifetime.
They were up by, they had a 97% chance to win at one point. It was crazy.
I think we can get into this on the other side. We need like 4 entries. One is a very safe entry.
Who's got $4,000 laying around?
Well, listeners, we got a lot of people.
You can't just ask our listeners for money.
They're getting the money too if we win. Listen, San Diego's a thriving economy, but my goal is this. One is a very safe Circa Survivor where we go with like massive favorites every week. I think one is a risk Circa Survivor. We're taking close money lines.
Well, we got to take a break more than anything. Otherwise, we're going to have no time at the end of the show, but we can continue.
You got me thinking about Circa Survivor now.
Where did all this $4,000 come from? I don't know. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Thursdays are my favorite day of the week. Why? Because you can visit San Diego's favorite casino on Thursdays for their amazing drink specials during Thirsty Thursdays. I'm talking about Valley View Casino and Hotel. Sip on $5 ice cold draft beers, $6 hand selected wines, and $7 refreshing cocktails at any of Valley View Casino and Hotel's restaurants and bars. Or while you play your favorite slots and table games, you don't want to miss out on these thirst quenching deals available on Thursdays at Valley View Casino and Hotel. And while you're there, don't forget, join the Players Club. Signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus, when you join the Players Club, you're going to get over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. It's a Thirsty Thursday. Get on out there, people. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly at Valley View Casino, including $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play on the table games, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, $10 to the cafe, and the list goes on and on. Plus, when you upgrade from red card to blue card, you're getting 2 free Maine Lobster buffets. The more you use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino and Hotel for Thirsty Thursday tonight and join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. San Diego Sports 760. John Schaefer's got you the rest of the way. He's going to have 4 packs of tickets as well for the brand new Elephant Valley at the San Diego Safari Park. Our buddy Fridge Watcher on YouTube saying, I just scored Metallica tickets at the Sphere for October 22nd and 24th. Now I just need the Chiefs to play there on the 25th. Come on, NFL.
Fridge Watcher sounds like a real class act individual.
I would love to go see Metallica at the Sphere. I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to or justify ponying up the amount of money.
You know who's doing all the promos for him?
Our guy
Malcolm.
I heart cool guy.
He
Fridge Watcher,
the
also
coolest guy in the building.
Oh, he's easily the coolest guy in the building. Fridge Watcher also saying he spent $2,700 for 3 tickets.
Really?
Ooh, we're gonna make Sammy do math. 2,700 divided by 3.
900.
Wow.
San Diego State Education.
San Diego State Education. He can do fast math. Good for you, Sammy. But that's going to be awesome, dude. Could you imagine Enter Sandman at the Sphere?
That'd be fantastic.
They also said they're not going to repeat songs.
Yeah, they're like playing it. They're playing their whole catalog through,
which is cool because there's going to be people like Fridge Watcher who are going for multiple nights, so they get to see different set lists each night, which is the way to do it if you're doing a concert.
I think we should tag along with John Schaefer to the Mountain West Conference tournament in Vegas.
Like next week?
Yeah.
You just want to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Let's give it a shot. Someone's got to be here to run the board. Are you going to ask Brent to come in a couple hours early every day?
Well, you know how that conversation will go? No.
Are you insane? I hate you and Ben. No shot. All right, we're done for the day. John Schaefer is coming up next. Take it easy on him. All right, Schaefer's feeling nervous about tomorrow night. Dude probably hasn't slept since the last couple of San Diego State losses. We're out of here. See you tomorrow. Had fun today, everybody. Thank you for being here.